Ladies and gentlemen, we got a surprise sneak peek for War Machine and Rescue, returning to Marvel Future Fight and ready to rejoin the battle. So, my trepidation over not being able to identify which War Machine outfit didn't last very long, because now we know which War Machine outfit it is. And I'm here to tell you that I still don't know which one it is, because I don't care about War Machine. I know I've gotten a lot of flack over the past 8 months for being a War Machine hater, but I'm not going to change now. I'm stubborn, and I'm also kind of stupid. So yeah, if you can tell me where this War Machine outfit is from, cool. I'm not going to go read it. But yeah, let's check this out. The superhero who saved Tony Stark's life has also joined the battle with his suit. Rhodey! It's kind of weird because it says Rhodey, but then it's literally just Rhodey. It's a little strange. I mean, like, sorry, it says that it's just Rhodey, but it's also Ironheart. Jesus. Rescue. Fuck, man. Anyways, check out the new look and ability of this hero who is a reliable friend of Tony Stark. This is actually really weird. It's like they weren't planning to show the sneak peek for Rescue. They were just planning to show the sneak peek for for War Machine, and then they updated the sneak peek. The reason why I'm saying that is, okay, let me check on YouTube. Check out the new. Yeah, see, look at this. It only references War Machine. It doesn't reference Rescue at all, which is very strange. So I feel like this update has been shuffled around a lot. Like, literally, the title is just Rhodey. I'm sorry, there's literally a whole other character there. Very strange. Very strange. Anyways, we get the classic MFF rock music. You know what's funny now is you can play a different game with Marvel Future Fight, because it seems like we've seen with the last few updates that they've shifted away from their traditional model of having sneak peeks to this model where they have kind of like a highlight reel sneak peek, which is what I would call this, for certain lesser known characters. I don't want to say they do this from day one, but they did this for Gwenpool recently, and they're doing it now for Rhodey and Rescue. Sorry, War Machine and Rescue. Are we going to see a crazy cool sneak peek for Iron Man? Or maybe for Sentinel Tier 3? Or maybe for someone else that's more popular, for a new Tier 4, Emma Frost, something like that. It seems like they're picking and choosing which sneak peeks get the love and which ones just get sort of, I don't know what you want to call it, PowerPoint presentation. This feels like a glorified PowerPoint presentation. And I hate to be I hate to be mean, because I think the sneak peek team works really, really hard. But you also have to admit, like, this is also not the level of creativity. I don't want to say quality, because it's good quality, but it's not the level of creativity that we've gotten used to with sneak peeks, because it's literally just a slideshow, right? It's like, oh, look, it's their names with them behind it. Then it's them. Then, anime wipe, and then it's them, and then it's them, and then it's and then it's them again. Listen, it's effective. It's certainly an effective marketing tool, and it gives us a lot of information. You get to see their uniforms from a lot of different angles. You also get to know that one of them is not getting a Tier 4. RIP Rescue, by the way. She's just getting a new uniform. We now can confirm that War Machine's getting the Tier 4. But you got to admit, from the creativity point of view, just writing Tier 4 in big neon letters is a lot different than what we were having for all new Tier 4s a few months ago, and last year and the year before that, which is where the Tier 4 clue was nestled in and hidden in the sneak peek. So clearly something has changed over there with the brass at Marvel Future Fight. It's fine. Like, it is what it is. It's fine. I'm not going to complain. There's a weird, like, they put a space after tier with the dash, but not after the 4. So kind of just make up your mind here, guys. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about this. I don't want to make this the whole video. I don't want to complain too much about it, but yeah, it does feel a little bit weird. And yeah, it kind of bums me out. Like, it's like a 2 out of 10 for me. If a 10 out of 10 is I'm quitting the game, and a 0 out of 10 is like I'm not even listening, this is like a 2 or 3 out of 10 for me. But War Machine looks really cool. Again, no idea what comic run. Rescue looks cool. These both look like pseudo-classic looks for these characters. Very, very classic or pseudo-classic looks for these characters, which is nice. We don't really have any other information, but this is not the only sneak peek. So there's going to be at least one more sneak peek. I reckon that it's going to be Iron Man's new uniform, and he's going to get the fancy, gussied up sneak peek where they actually try, and it's where they, put more creativity. I don't want to say try. And I think that will be the last sneak peek before the live stream. However, a lot of people have pointed out, and if you go to Google and you search Iron Man Sentinel, And I sort of pointed this out in the video yesterday. So these Super Sentinels that Iron Man made that clearly look like just giant versions of Iron Man. Now, there's a couple of things to note here. One, obviously, this is an opportunity, right? These are the these are called the Stark Sentinels, not the Iron Man Sentinels. But there's a huge opportunity here for one of three things to happen. And I do want to talk about this. So first thing that could happen, which is sort of like the most obvious, is that we get a tier 3 and a new uniform for Sentinel. Now, despite the fact that these are literally Stark Sentinels, I think this is the least likely option. And the reason for that being is Sentinel right now, occupies a unique place in the lore because it's a Sentinel and it's Nimrod, and it's sort of like homing in on that idea, right? And it represents this. We don't have any other representation of Sentinels in the game as playable characters or Nimrod. Now, some people would have argued that maybe Nimrod should have been a separate character because there is a huge difference between Nimrod and Sentinels. Huge, right? But hey, it is what it is, right? But the thing is, with these Stark Sentinels, this is a one-off, right? This is most likely a one-off. We're not going to see Stark Sentinels make a big, become a big deal in the Marvel lore. They're probably never going to come back. So to take away, to sort of paint over what is one of the most classic and recognizable forms of robot mutant killers would be odd, right? And to cover it over with something that most people don't recognize. This is classic. This is sort of like limited time product placement. So that's kind of my issue, but it's definitely possible. Again, it shares the name Sentinel, so it's definitely possible. I would prefer to see Nimrod get a new Nimrod uniform because there's actually a bunch of different Nimrod looks in House of X and all those whatever Swords of X, etc. There's a bunch of different looks for Nimrod. There's looks where he's a different body size, etc. Has a neck finally. Congratulations. I would rather see that happen for Nimrod personally and leave the Stark Sentinel thing out. That's the first option. The second option, much less likely, of course, but it's still technically an option, is that we see a sort of Stark branded Hulkbuster. Because in a way, the Stark Sentinels are sort of like Hulkbusters, where they are suits that are not being piloted by someone inside, like Neon Genesis Evangelion, but more, or like Pacific Rim or whatever you have, Gundam, but more like autonomous robots in gigantic suits, right? Hollow suits. So yeah, it's absolutely possible that they do sort of like an interpretation, in air quotations, of the Stark Sentinels, but they slap that thing on Hulkbuster. It would also help them to further this idea that it's like, an Iron Man et al. Type update, because you're getting a uniform for Iron Man. You're getting one for War Machine. You're getting one for Rescue. So Hulkbuster's the only one. Hulkbuster's the odd man out here, right? The odd man out. And keep in mind, the last time Rescue got a rework, got a uniform, was with this 3099 ship back in, I believe, May 2021. So that's 3 years ago. Congratulations to Rescue. She's finally moving on from this uniform. But it would make sense for them to go hand in hand because they came out at the same time, and also because their transcendent skills are literally together. Literally together. Like, if you don't remember, their transcendent skills, they're really cool. I think they do the cut screen, the split screen thing. Okay, well, I didn't turn the SFX on, so you can't say. Okay, so I'm an idiot. Let me try this again. Let me try it again, please. Let me try it again. There we go. So yeah, it would be kind of weird if you do that cutscene split screen and Rescue's got the new uniform and Hulkbuster's just left in kind of Shitsville. So that's the second option, I think. I think it's in some ways less likely, in some ways more likely. The last option, which I think is the least likely overall, but also one of the coolest, is they finally upgrade Master Mold. Orange pointed this out to me on Discord a couple of days ago, and I think it's a great point that there's a lot of similarities here between these giant robot, obviously, right, giant Sentinels and Master Mold, because Master Mold makes Sentinels. So they could do sort of an Iron Man branded Master Mold, and they could upgrade this Master Mold to be like a Stark Master Mold, or whatever you want to call it, and then make this Master Mold as difficult as Dormammu, or more difficult even. And I actually think, despite how unlikely this is, that it's a really good idea for two reasons. One, we need a new challenge in GBR. We need something more difficult than Dormammu. I know a lot of you guys deal with the ultimate difficulty, which is connectivity, but for everybody that's, you know, not using a phone from 2006, Dormammu now can be blasted down pretty consistently in like a minute or less. I very rarely join a lobby. Now, obviously, I'm doing the majority of the damage, but I very rarely join a lobby these days where players do actually 0 damage. They're usually doing between 5 and 15% of the damage, and that makes the fight go a little bit faster. Now, they did reduce the difficulty, the HP and the defense of Dormammu a couple of updates ago, which does put a hamper on the idea that they're going to release a new GBR, right? Because why would they nerf the existing GBR if they were planning to power creep it? They wouldn't. So I'm a little bit skeptical. At the same time, Master Mold is not that well known. Now, if you're coming from X-Men 97, sure, you're very familiar with Master Mold, and you'd probably prefer a X-Men 97 revamp and sort of cosmetic upgrade for Master Mold. And I agree with you. Ultimately, that would be the best course of action, would be to release a full X-Men 97 update, Tier 4 for Gambit, new uniform, Tier 4 for Beast, new uniform, etc., etc., new character, Bastion, whatever. I think that's a money pit. I think that's just a gold mine of money, and I'm ready to spend money on that. But, you know, in lieu of that, right, if we're not going to be getting that, then at least they could do something like this. And I reckon they could do something like this because Iron Man is a much more recognizable color scheme and pattern these days. So for everybody who didn't watch X-Men 97, and believe me, there are people who just genuinely didn't watch X-Men 97 because they don't have Disney Plus or whatever, who don't really recognize Master Mold. And then if they change Master Mold into being this Iron Man version, they'll be like, oh, I know, said Master Mold, that's Iron Man. Master Mold, cool. Now, again, it's a little bit confusing because it paints Iron Man as the villain when he's not really, but Netmarble has already shown that they're not afraid to make Iron Man the villain, releasing Superior Iron Man not that long ago. So I think they could do it again. Anywho, those are all of my takes for this sneak peek. I think it's a good sneak peek in terms of what it's showing us and what it's sort of hinting at. I think it's a little bit weird that there's nothing for rescue, but it is what it is. I think some people have speculated, and I think it's correct, that this was supposed to be part of a larger Armor Wars update scheduled for release along with the movie or TV show, and then all that shit got canned, and they sort of had a conversation with Marvel where they were like, listen, we can completely shelve this, or we can tweak it a little bit, change some of the color schemes around, dip the little paint bucket, and we can come up with something else. And this is what we get instead. So yeah, hit me up in the comments down below. Let me know what you think. Thank you so much for watching the video. Smash the like button if you enjoy the content, and I will see you tomorrow on the live stream and in the next one. Take care.